Sonlin and Herwig Konings are founding partners of Security Token Group. All opinions expressed by them or guests on this podcast are solely their opinions and do not represent the views of Security Token Group or its subsidiaries. You should not take any opinion expressed on the show as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow any investment strategy. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Hello and welcome to the Security Token Show. This is episode 107 where we're going to give you all the latest security token news and info as well as our main topic today, fractionalized art. I'm your host, Herwig Konings, as well as joined by my business partner and co-host, Kyle Sonlin. And of course, before we get started, we want to make sure that we give a huge shout out to our sponsor for this week, making this show possible. I'm talking about none other than Digital Markets. If you haven't heard of Digital Markets, they can help you do a global IPO. In fact, we've worked with them in the past with our clients to help them issue, raise, list, and trade through Digital Markets' platform. So definitely, if you're in the business of doing a security token and looking for any of those services, go check out Digital Markets.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode 107. And to kick off the show this week, we're going with our companies of the week. This is where Herwig and I picked two companies that caught our eyes this week, and we really wanted to give a specific shout out for doing amazing work in the industry. So without further ado, Herwig, who you got for the company of the week, 107?
Well, this is a big one, I think. You know, I've got always been an interest on Japan. In fact, back in 2020, I wrote a little bit of an article on the growing security token scene, the red hot security token scene of Japan. And none other than my company of the week today is Mitsui, which is one of the largest investment banks in the country. And they have officially announced that they're going to be launching a platform, Alterna, for tokenized real estate this fall. And they've got some big numbers to go to boot with that. They're going to be starting in a beta with 20 to 30 participants. But we already know that they've worked in the past in March announcing actually an issuance test with Securitize, so we know that they're going to be close to launch soon. And beyond that, they're planning to tokenize 170 million in tokenized assets with a total pipeline within 3 years for $910 million worth of tokenized assets. So that's fantastic news. That's why I'm telling you, Japan is going to be red hot.
That's amazing. Mitsui, yet again, Japan, it's unbelievable. This is a global operation. Even on Security Token Market, we're seeing that Japan is the second highest traffic viewership just behind the US. Do not sleep on Asia. They are building and building successfully. And that transitions us very well into my company of the week.
Tell us.
Which is Shareable Asset. They are partnering with Standard Chartered Bank in order to launch a partnership to issue digital green bonds. The goal here is to make it more accessible for the retail public to invest in these sustainable environmental bonds, raising capital for these types of projects. They're working with the Hong Kong Authority for Securities, and they're doing amazing work. These are green bonds, so as we said, they're raising money for good and for the ESG projects. And it's on a public permission blockchain. So they're going to be working on-chain, launching digital securities. They're also doing it through a mobile app so investors can access it very easily. They're bringing down the minimum investments to encourage more trading and more investment from retail investors. And they're working on their own secondary liquidity platform to be able to trade these things in the future. So Standard Chartered Bank working with Shareable Asset. Shareable Asset, that's a huge win, an amazing opportunity. Congratulations.
Makes total sense to me, Kyle. Standard Chartered is a massive bank, huge validation for the Shareable Asset platform, which, as you pointed out, makes it much easier for people to invest now, I guess, into ESG bonds, which is fantastic. That's environmental, social, governmental. It's a rising trend for investing, and now you can do it easily via them. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
So 2 additional Asian companies making great moves in the industry. And with that, it's time to move into our top 5.
Let's do it.
And moving into our top 5, we're kicking it off with number 1, and that is the Security Token secondary trading market cap has breached the $1 billion market cap. It's now at $1.1 billion, so we are flying. It started at about $320 million to start the year, and now we're over that $1.1 billion mark. This is spearheaded by INX, which listed in July. It's now August, and the asset has gone up 272% as of filming. It's now over $3 a share from the 90 cents listing. At $415 million in total market cap, it is number one on the charts, followed behind Overstock's digital dividend at $265 million and T0 right around $106 million. So these assets are flying. The security token market is pumping, and this is not to mention we've got Exodus that's going to be listing in 2 weeks. That's going to bring another $700 million at listing, let alone to see where
it's going to be exciting to see where the year ends, Kyle. We may well be in the several multi-billion-dollar market cap range.
Absolutely right.
Let's get into number 2. Big news out of BlockFi, where they had hired about 4 months ago the ex-CFTC commissioner. His name is Christopher Giancarlo, otherwise known as the Crypto Dad, for his favorable stance towards the crypto industry. And he had joined the company, but within 4 weeks, he has now announced that he's no longer with the company and he has left. Now, this could potentially smell trouble. Who knows what he saw and has decided to leave. We've seen this trend before. We've seen this with Brian Brooks with the OCC previous commissioner, with Binance. And, we've seen Jay Clayton join Fireblocks. Let's see how long he sticks around.
Yeah, this comes on the heels of the scrutiny around BlockFi's interest-bearing accounts, which may be securities, and we'll have to see. If you want to learn more about that, we covered it in episode 102.
That's right.
And moving into number 3, we've got Ripple. We have an update on the Ripple case. We cover this every week because of all of the developments going on in the space. And Ripple scores another win against the SEC in what seemed like an underdog battle to start. A judge has now granted Ripple another win, with now a judge is going to be diving into the SEC's internal documents to examine whether they've been considering internally that Ethereum is not a security and how they've been acting towards Ripple's cryptocurrency investigation, including if they've been stifling some fact discovery, which could be, damaging to the SEC's case. She's going to review that live on camera later in September, and we're going to get more facts in the case there.
In fact, there's a ruling time to be made around September 28th, so this does mean we're going to see an advancement in the case as a result of all this. We have been covering this quite a lot, so definitely check this out. We do consider this the legal case of the year, so we're going to have some big news on that, hopefully at the end of the month. Number 4, we're going to be talking about China, where the recent Chinese regulators, securities regulators, actually came together to promote blockchain and security tokens for infrastructure for capital markets. In fact, this is part of their 14th 5-year plan that they're doing, and they actually are going to be developing their own chain of custody for companies, obviously, in China to leverage. And they actually have Yuan that we've been talking about, their central bank digital currency that can actually physically and digitally transverse via ATM. You can now use Yuans to buy insurance products and investment products through 2 specific Chinese banks. So this is a huge development and a sign that China is going to be roaring into security tokens in the next few years.
According to the article, 8.42 million wallets to hold Yuan have already been issued by the Chinese Construction Bank, one of the largest central banks in China. So they are not playing around. They are issuing these things quickly, and you're going to see the Yuan as the preferred method of payment, I would imagine, very soon.
Something to keep an eye on.
Moving to number 5, we have another digital currency, but this one is under scrutiny, and that's Tether. We've talked about Tether in episode 105 in the past, and Tether is under some scrutiny, right? They've had some issues around whether their assets are actually backed by real dollars or not, and Canada has just recently come out and said that they cannot play in the country. This is specifically around the Ontario Securities Commission, who actually has granted licenses for 2 digital currency exchanges to be able to operate across all of the provinces of China, and they have announced that Tether cannot be used on the platform. It is the first digital asset that they have banned from using this platform, and this is a big
Canada, specifically Canada.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about Coinberry and Wealthsimple. They are not allowed to trade USDT. Definitely check out episode 105 because we break down why this could have interesting ramifications with Tether and the cryptocurrency industry. And that's it for the top 5. Now let's head over to Jessica and get the rest of the industry news.
I'm Jessica Burns, and this is this week's industry updates. The Nigerian Central Bank has created a comprehensive guideline to the licensed financial institutions in the country with respect to its digital Naira initiative. The central bank informed the banks that the INARA project is billed to be developed through 5 major processes. The end game for the Apex Bank will be to bolster financial inclusion initiatives and reduce the cost of transactions accordingly. The embrace of digital currencies initiatives by governments around the world is gaining momentum. While the United States Federal Reserve Bank is on track to release its digital dollar report in early September, China is slowly creating a global clearing network for mobile payments to be settled in the digital yuan. Over the next months, more advantages in digital currencies pursuits by central banks should be making the rounds. 9F Inc., an innovative blockchain-based digital securities brokerage platform and service technology company, recently announced that it is implementing a series of strategic changes aimed at transforming the company from a leading financial technology service provider focused on personal credit technology to a cutting-edge digital and block-based security brokerage company with an equity-based security brokerage services and digital asset technology services on the center of its offerings, leveraging the decades-long track record of its wholly owned licensed brokerage firm and empowered by its artificial intelligence and blockchain technologies. 9F is committed to becoming the global platform for investment in and the trading of security and digital assets, providing users worldwide with global investments in stocks, debt securities, and digital asset management services, with a primary focus on stocks traded in the US and Hong Kong stock exchanges. The company's brokerage operation is headquartered in Hong Kong, supported by branch offices in mainland China, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and other Southeast Asian countries. In other exciting news, security tokens will boost multi-million-dollar Asia-Pacific investment property sector, market players say, which could allow individual professional investors to take part in large-scale projects with affordable entry ticket prices. Security tokens are typically asset-backed digital representations of ownerships or other economic rights in an underlying asset, and it will allow individual professional investors to take part in large-scale projects. They will also let developers and asset owners raise funds without fully disposing their projects, according to the market players. These STOs offer investors access to a new world of previously inaccessible investment opportunities by offering fractionalized interest, secondary market liquidity, and information transparency. Currently, less than 1% of transactions in Asia are leveraging STOs, but there are big anticipation acceleration growth for STO transactions over the next 3 years, with real estate financing participants being among the first to embrace these offerings. The Asian market continues to grow every week, and we love to see it. FMC Pay is the world's most trusted platform for trading cryptocurrency, digital securities registered in the USA. Market cap and rank prices, exchange volumes, and currency conversion. Track your holdings with their new portfolio and make detailed comparisons, as well as staying up to date with the latest crypto news. FMC Pay is a cryptocurrency exchange that is licensed in the United States and facilitates trading activities for users irrespective to their location. By inking a license in the United States, the exchange has surmounted one of the greatest hurdles digital currency trading startups face, as the US is one of the regions with the strictest regulations. This milestone resounds the legitimacy of FMC Pay and the safety of users who choose to trade on this exchange. Blockchain Foundry Inc. is pleased to announce that it has launched an MPB pilot of Pellegrine, a unique digital asset compliance tool. The tool allows operators of security tokens, stablecoins, central bank digital currencies, NFTs, and other digital assets to apply custom rule sets to digital asset transactions, including overlaying traditional finance compliance requirements onto token ecosystems. As developments continue following the initial MVP pilot, Pellegrine will allow users to implement templates for digital token transactions modeled after the regulatory frameworks which apply in respect of traditional securities. Pellegrine aims to reduce compliance and regulatory risks by allowing projects to select the rules that apply to their tokens while helping eliminate fraudulent and illicit transactions on their network. Now, we have very big news for our very own security token market. We have teamed up with turnkey security token platform Digital Markets, or Digital. With hundreds of security token offerings, or STOs, presently listed on the platform, security token market has become an established marketplace to research and take place in the security token space, which in its early stages of development, Security Token Market has introduced its partnership network to shine a light on some of the top tier businesses driving the adoption of the game-changing technology in the security token industry, and we look forward to working with Digital. Don't forget to head over to the Security Token website and check out all the great posts that we have for you this week, including Peter Gaffney's Tokenize This, where he talks about tokenizing bars and clubs using some of his personal favorites as case studies, so make sure that you go check that out. If you're not already, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date with all the industry updates. And that's all I have for you today. Let's take it over to John for the latest STO news.
What's up, Token World? John Pittman, your Token Boy, and I'm here with your weekly STO update. So, I'm sure you're just as tired as I am of watching horrible Netflix, Hulu, Amazon content, and would love to throw your money and invest in entertainment that you know others and yourself would love to see. Well, you're going to love this STO from Leveler. You see, Leveler is an entertainment production platform that connects creators with investors from across the globe. The platform allows independent creators and producers an outlet to pitch and raise funds to tell fresh stories without being stifled by the entertainment industry's uniform and stale approach to project funding. AI and blockchain-backed technology streamline the proposal process, open up investment opportunities, and seamlessly integrate secure contracts and transactions. Leveler offers an accessible and transparent production process that puts creative control and profits in the hands of brilliant creators and investors who believe in them. Next up, we have a company looking to come to consumer aid and help us weaponize our data. This company is called Funware. It's a leading enterprise cloud platform for mobile devices that provides software solutions, data, and services for brands worldwide. It was launched in Austin in 2009, and it has already attracted more than $100 million in traditional financing to date from institutional and corporate strategic investors. Funware has announced that its subsidiary, Fundcoin, has launched an offering for a new security token. Fundcoin is a security that empowers consumers to take control and be compensated for their data. So you basically are able to monetize your digital identity by sharing data with brands. You can earn Fundcoin for the value of your data provided in a survey or for completing KYC AML. Token will be pursuant to the Rule 506C of Regulation D and will be available to accredited investors. Funware's CEO and co-founder, Alan Natowski, states that they have the ability to reach 1 in 10 mobile devices globally through their enterprise platform for mobile, which will allow them to introduce Fundcoin first to thousands and eventually millions of people who likely have never owned a digital asset of any type in the past. That wraps up your weekly SEO update. I'm the Token Boy, and I will see you on the other side of the blockchain. Take it away, Keith.
Hey everyone, it's Keith here. Now let's move right into our secondary market trading segment. As always, all news and pricing data is sourced from stomarket.com. As we kick off the segment today, the total security token market cap is sitting at just around $1.01 billion. We've held this billion-dollar market cap level for a solid week now, suggesting that the recent growth in the market is healthy and here to stay. The number one security token by market cap is now INX, and it is trading at a whopping $3.46. This puts the token's price up over 33% from the week prior, and the market seems to be justifying that price, with the token finding over 2.4 million in weekly volume, more than double last week. Overstock security token took another breather this week, down 5.3% and maintaining a weekly trading volume of 1.7 million. Overstock is continuing its slide against INX. Last week, we noted that the INX market cap was 28% higher than that of Overstock. With INX now trading at a market cap of $427 million, that number has risen to 60%. Although INX is gaining speed against Overstock, the OSTKO token is still the second largest token by market cap, and it is over that by $100 million. T0's token has had a rather rough week, down another 15% on the back of their CEO's resignation, making headlines. A large spike in volume for the token suggests that the news may be correlated to the token's movement in price. The token is now trading at $5.45, and weekly volume is at 1.1 million, up many multiples from the $248,000 before the release of the news. Now, let's move on over into tokenized stocks. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust shares spiked in trading volume on FTX last week, but trading volume has since subsided from 49 million down to 37 million this week. This represents a drop in volume of about 24.4%. Last week, we also talked about the Chinese multinational automobile manufacturer NIO shares trading with 7 million in weekly volume on FTX, which has now pulled back to a much more modest 3 million for the week. Binance had 2 tokenized stocks this week make it into the top 10 highest traded tokenized stocks. Considering that Binance is set up to wind down its offering of tokenized stock trading within the next month or so, it's no wonder that the firm struggles to compete with FTX in the space. Another exciting week in the markets. As always, do your own research and hit me up on Twitter at KeithDLT to send me all your hot takes. See you next time. Bye-bye.
And for our main topic here in episode 107 of the Security Token Show, we're going to be covering fractionalized art. This is something that's been popularized with the rise of NFTs and the digital investing into the art world, and it's been a really fascinating discovery about how this could transition and pivot towards the securities laws that we're facing here in the United States. So I think that it's going to be a very interesting discussion, Herwig, to break down exactly what this could mean for the industry.
I mean, NFTs are booming. Billions and billions of dollars are now being issued and traded via NFTs, non-fungible tokens, typically representing digital art, but we've seen it start to take on many different forms and mediums. In fact, in episode 99, we actually talk about why some NFTs might qualify as security tokens because they are starting to offer features and characteristics that might actually trigger them to be securities. The two most biggest one to look at being royalties. The idea of sending out payments to other providers may make the NFT a security token, but more importantly, definitely when you offer fractionalization. Non-fungible tokens by design are meant to be owned by one person, but through the use of security tokens, or really just in general through blockchain fractionalization, you can make it easy for all of us, for many, many different participants to own a piece of the art and split it up, which of course now actually might trigger security token issues.
Yeah, so you've seen how NFTs haven't followed securities laws in a lot of cases because they're art. And the argument here is that, oh, it's great to look at, or it's a trading card, or it's one of these, sentimental value pieces that you're not actually buying it to own for future economic gain. But once you start to split it up into fractional pieces, you're no longer really benefiting from a lot of those sentimental or emotional pieces, and it does really start to look like it's an economic benefit, and that's really what you're trying to do with it. So definitely need to keep that a main focus.
And tokenization on art is going to keep on coming, and that's why we enter into the realm of physical art also being tokenized, which also can be enabled for fractionalization. And that's where things get really interesting because the idea of many people owning a multi-million-dollar Warhol could actually create a market around that because of such big demand after art like this. So that's where fractionalization comes in. Blockchain technology can make it very, very easy for all of us to be able to own a piece of that Warhol. And in this case, through the use of security tokens, doing it the compliant way, the easiest way is typically done via what's setting up called a SPV, a special purpose vehicle, which is essentially a shell company focused on doing one thing and one thing alone, which is owning and managing the asset that is the piece of art, in this example, the Warhol. And what we'll do is we will take the shares of that SPV and we will tokenize them so that we have a compliant investment product representing the art underneath, in this case, the Warhol.
Yeah, so what does this mean for an investor, or for an issuer? If you have art and you're trying to create a security token behind it or potentially offer fractionalized shares, it means that you need to onboard your investors compliantly. That means here in the United States, if you're going to do a Reg D, you need to make sure it's accredited investors only. You need to make sure that you're KYCing, you're AMLing investors around the world. You're issuing a Reg S if you're going to be bringing international investors and making sure that you're following all relevant securities laws in those different jurisdictions. But it also means that you can offer all of these redemption rights, you can offer distributions upon the sale, all kinds of these other active benefits that you maybe would have had to try to sidestep if you were doing an NFT. Now you can be fully open and actually embrace a lot of these opportunities to have assets backing the investment vehicle, and that would be a security token and it would be allowed to trade on secondary markets.
In fact, that might be the biggest value add of all. And with an NFT, we're really talking about one transaction to another party, right? But when we create fractionalization, we can enable multiple participants, which will allow us to create market dynamics and potentially liquidity solutions through security tokens. And that's where the idea of taking our Warhol tokens and trading them on any of the major security token exchanges is now possible. And the idea of now being able to use Warhols and other pieces of art as part of your diversification strategies or part of your investment strategies, it's now possible thanks to fractionalized art through security tokens.
Herwig, I've got one other question for you I think that everyone's looking to ask. Can you have a security token NFT?
You absolutely can. We've seen it before with Club Necaxa out of Mexico. This is actually the owners of the Mexican soccer team or football team, if you will. They actually came together and said, we want to enable one person to be able to own 1% and be a club owner. So that's only one person that can own that NFT. But in this case, the NFT has gone through all the proper procedures in order to be compliant. They do security tokenization. They're, as you said, onboarding investors or qualifying you to make sure you can be the owner, and then you're going to be actually signing legal documents that entitle you to royalties, anti-dilution, and of course that 1%, plus there is a gimmicky, nice little NFT to go along with it. That's some digital art.
So you can absolutely have an NFT that represents art, but also has additional benefits. We've seen examples like Blau, the DJ, who's launching a platform where artists can issue NFTs that represent royalties into their performance and into their artist catalog. So there's a lot of these great opportunities that are happening, and all you just need to do is make sure you're doing it compliantly and embrace the security token gospel, and I think that you're going to be just fine.
That's right. Fractional art, it's a trend that you will see continuing to grow. And with that, I think that's the wrap up of our show here, Kyle. Of course, we always welcome feedback, suggestions. Reach out to us on LinkedIn or Twitter. Join the community, Security Token Market, on Discord, or go directly to our website to get the trading history, the latest news, as well as a lot of great research and cool scripts and columns from our team over at Security Token Advisors and Markets.
So like this video, subscribe on YouTube or the podcast wherever you're listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Happy tokenizing.